Now, if you live in Florida, you might have heard of a town called Port Orange. But inside of Port Orange, there's a small community called Freemanville, which has a lot of history, especially for the Volusia County area. But look, don't worry, I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, before we get too deep into this, I got to introduce you to John, all right? This is John Milton Hawk. Now, he was a doctor, a teacher, and a politician. Now, John was a little bit, different than a lot of people around this time. See, the thing about John is he really didn't, understand this whole slavery thing, all right? And he let that be known to everybody. So, around the Civil War time, all right, 1861 to 1865, John, he starts this association, all right, where he helps freed slaves come down to Florida and find work. But this is Esther, all right? This is his wife, Esther Hawk. She just like John. She's also a doctor, and she's also a teacher, but she a little different kind of doctor. She a surgeon, and she fought for the freed slaves as well. Matter of fact, the association that they started, it was to help free slaves and soldiers, black soldiers. If they got injured or anything like that, they would bring them in and they would fix them up. So John, he had a bright idea. He told his wife, he said, look, all right, why don't we just start up this, mill, okay? Like a sawmill. And we'll do wood and things like that. And we'll post up on some land and bring in the freed slaves, all right? And give them work. We'll have them all work at the mill. Now, look, I just got to say this, okay? This ain't the mill, okay? Every time I kept Googling it, this kept coming up. So we just used it. It wanted to be used. All right. But anyway, when John got into town, he brought 500 freed slaves into town. All right. And when he brought them into town, they built homes. All right. They built some stores, and they built some churches and some schools. All right. And they just built this whole little community, and everybody got a job at the mill. Now, the church that they built, everybody in the town went to this church. All right. It's called Mount Moriah. All right. Pay attention to this. I'm bringing this back up later on. Now, when they got into town, it wasn't like there wasn't nobody here. They had people that was, already on this land that Freemanville sits on. But the thing is that this area of Volusia County, the 500 free slaves that came into town, those were the first black people to settle in Volusia County. Now, Esther, okay? Esther got some interesting stuff going on with her. So remember what I said, Esther was a teacher. So when they started this whole community or whatnot, the school, she was the teacher at the school. All right. And at this time, the school that she was teaching at had black kids and white kids. All right. And this is unheard of at this time. Okay. This is around the Civil War time. So it is said that her school in Florida was the first integrated school. That's deep. Now, back to the sawmill. So when they opened up this sawmill, things were going good. They was building it and they were doing a little bit of work. But John had sent out a package, like a care package, on this ship, right? It was supposed to be product and, money to help build this. And it was supposed to be some machinery and stuff to help build. But that ship on the way back to Florida, know what I mean? It sank. Yeah. Everybody perished. All the money's gone. All the product, all the extra stuff that he needed to build this, all gone. So now he's bankrupt. Now, that's bad for John, all right? Because John is the one funding a lot of things. Plus, all these men, these freed slaves, they supposed to be working for bruh. Now, he ain't got no job, all right? But he goes to the government, all right? And pulls some strings or whatnot. So they get government funding for this area, which I don't understand at all. They was giving out government funding like that back then. Now, when that government funding came in, more people started coming to the Freemanville area. But, and we're still talking about free slaves, but it wasn't 500 this time. This time, it was 1,000. Now, this next part of the video, I got to put it in here, all right? Because this is part of the reason how they got the name Freemanville. So there's a family that was living here, white family. And the dad of this family was a little loopy, all right? He used to do weird stuff, like real weird. Well, I'll just say one of them real quick. He got a lot of things, but this is just one of them. So one of the things is he didn't have grass, all right? He would like rake the dirt perfectly, all right? Perfect lines in the dirt. And he would use it like a security system or something. I don't know, but he would know if somebody like walked in his dirt or a snake went across his yard. Look, I ain't got time to be doing that every day, all day. Little wind blow. I got to go back out there and rake the dirt. Anyway, it was said that the Freeman family, all right, their family had been here for a very long time. Maybe one of the ones, that were the first to settle in the area, and that's why they called that area Freemanville. But I think it's something else. Y'all follow me. So you got a couple, married couple, all right? They're doctors, okay? Smart. They're teachers as well. And they decided to, help freed men, all right? And the history about them and him starting a mill there. The mill goes down, but the town is still full of free men. That's what I'm rolling with. Now, I'm probably 100% wrong with that, but it just makes me feel better to just roll with that. But another thing about this whole community, that we're talking about right now, it's like a ghost community. There's not a lot of stuff that's still here from that. Let me show you something. Now, back to the church. This is the only building, the only thing that has anything to do with that time period. There's no homes, there's no nothing. There's none of the stores, the mill ain't there. I don't know where the mill at, but this is the only thing from that time frame that could tell anything about the history of that time frame. Now, this next part, all right, I did a little research, and I don't know if I'm right or not, but if you in Volusia County, okay, that's my county, all right? If you in Volusia County, put it in the comments if I'm wrong about any of this, but this is Miss McLeod. They call her Mama Cloud, I believe. And they do this thing every year on the second Tuesday in February, where they get together, and they discuss and talk about that time period. Now, it's called Freemanville Day, I believe. And if you guys are in the area, y'all should pull up to this and find out about this, because there's nothing online about this. Ain't no pictures about the community. Ain't nothing. I had to do all the digging on this. I had to do the digging through John and Esther. Feel me? Also, this is also one of the only things that has to do with that time period. I don't even know what this is, but it sits right next to the church, all right? So everything else is no longer there about that community, but this little pipe and that church. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you, all right? I need to do more digging on this, get more in depth. And if I wasn't busy next Tuesday, I would have came to this. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to get all the info. Now, look, I don't know what y'all going to do to remember this. Like it, comment, share it. I don't know. But the more you know. Peace.